The one nobody talks about, the grief of leaving home. I've been doing this a long time, and so has the team. More than 1,000 transactions, and I've personally helped hundreds of families. Here's what I've learned and what almost nobody in real estate is willing to say out loud. The reason most people wait too long to have this conversation is not the market. It's not the taxes. It's not the stuff, and it's not the repairs. It's this. Leaving a home you've lived in for 30 years, that's a kind of grief. And you deserve to have that named, not minimalized, not rushed past with a list of financial benefits named. And that's what this video is. For your generation, people who bought their homes in their 30s and have built their entire adult lives within these walls, this home is not a financial asset first. It's a container for identity. The kitchen where you made 10,000 meals, the height marks on the door frame that your kids will look at again and again, the garden your husband spends 20 summers building, the room where your mother slept when they visited, the yard that your grandchildren learned how to run in. These things are not transferable. You can take photographs, you can take certain objects, but the rooms themselves, the specific quality of light in the morning, the creak of the second stair, the way the neighborhood sounds on a summer night, that is this place. And leaving all of that has loss. And nobody should be embarrassed to feel that, to talk about that. I want to describe what I see in my clients because sometimes it helps to have your experience reflected back to you. The grief often shows up as delay. You keep finding reasons why now isn't quite right. The timing, the market, the stuff, kids' schedules, those are real factors, but sometimes they're also permission. They're ways to stay without admitting that staying is the choice driven by grief rather than logic. It shows up as ambivalence. Part of you knows it makes sense to move, and part of you cannot imagine doing it. Both parts are telling the truth. This is not confusion. It's the experience of honoring two very real things at the same time. It shows up as wanting someone to give you permission. Permission from your kids, permission from your doctor, permission from a market shift. But what you're really waiting for is permission from yourself. Here are the things I've seen actually help. Nothing eliminates grief, but the transition possible without being destroyed by it. Document everything before you list. Walk through every room with your phone. Take a slow video. Record yourself telling the story of each room, the memory you associate with it. Make a record of the life that was built in this home. That record belongs to you forever. Hold a gathering with your family. Tell them stories. Let them witness one more version of why it was built before it becomes something else. Many of my clients who have done this described it as unexpectedly healing. Give things to people while you can watch. The specific act of handing something to a grandchild and then telling them the story of it creates a new kind of continuity. The object carries the memory forward in someone else's life now. Start imagining the next chapter before you close the door on this one. The people who struggle the most are the ones who cannot see anything on the other side. The people who move well are the ones who have let themselves want the next place. If you haven't started that yet, start now. I want to tell you what I hear from clients 6 months after they move. Not everyone says this, but most do. They say, I can't believe I waited so long. Not because the old home wasn't worth loving, it was because the new chapter is also worth it. Because the energy they have now, not managing the old house and spending weekends on so much maintenance and so many projects and not worrying about those things, that energy is going somewhere else incredible now. One woman I worked with in Minnetonka, she's been in her home 34 years. Her husband had passed 2 years before we met. She was exhausted and she was lonely in that big house and could not not even get herself to call anyone to talk about it. She finally reached out after watching one of the videos. 6 months after, she moved into a villa in Plymouth and called me. And she said, Kara, I joined a book club and I go to the pool. There's all these great people there. My neighbors brought me soup when I was sick, and I didn't know I could feel this again. The home you love will always be a part of you. It goes with you, and that next chapter can also be beautiful. If anything I said here resonates, if you've been carrying this quietly and it helps to have named it, I'm really glad. You don't have to have it figured out. You don't have to be ready in some complete way. You just have to be willing to have a conversation. The link in the description is for a free conversation, not a sales call. It is a real conversation with me about where you are, what you're holding on to, what possibilities are on the other side. I'll talk to you soon.